Kyrie Irving. We know the whole situation. For those who don't, Kyrie Irving is not able to play in the city of New York because of state mandates regarding vaccination. And the Nets ultimately decided that if he's going to be with the team, they want him there full time or not at all. So right now he's not practicing. He's not playing. There's no timetable for his return. What are your thoughts on that situation, and how do you see it playing out?
Well, ultimately, Kyrie Irving, as you mentioned, the city of New York and their mandates, not just New York City, as well as San Francisco and LA will be making similar mandates coming down the pike pretty soon. He won't be able to play. As you mentioned, the Nets do not want a part-time point guard. But my thoughts are it's a business. I mean, when you look at the Brooklyn Nets and the team is constructed, they are a championship caliber team, as well as the Los Angeles Lakers. But the Milwaukee Bucks are still the reigning NBA champs. And I think more respect should be given to them as they open the season against Brooklyn.
Agreed.
But what I'll add to that is when you look at what Kyrie Irving is doing, I don't see him changing his mind. I have been in touch with both he and those close to him. And one of the things that's interesting, and I think it's lost in translation, is the long-term effects of the vaccination are his concerns. I know people have talked about being the voice for the voiceless. I guess that sounds good, but I'll add that it has more to do with public health scares. The fact that Kyrie feels that the Nets, his team, should hear more of just his thoughts on the matter as it relates to him being concerned. Like, everybody's reaction to the COVID vaccine may be a little different. And so for him, he's more concerned about the effects that could happen long-term, and the fact that many players in the NBA are being forced to take this 95 to 96% of the league just to play a game of basketball. And from his perspective, he feels that it's so much bigger than just a shot. It's a conversation about how much money you bring to the table for a league in the NBA. And if so many players made up their mind that we're not going to do this and instead take a stand, now is the time to get people's attention. I will go back to the bubble and his thought process being on those conference calls. And from people I spoke with, I know that he has been labeled a disruptor, and I know that many people have been upset with him ever since he said the world is not round. But some of those conversations I know that he was having on those conference calls as it related to whether we're going to go to the bubble was, again, catching people's attention and using this as a platform for bigger or for social change.
Yeah, I think what people got to understand is that, look, Kyrie's a good dude. He does a lot of things off the court, for the community, for other people, for children. Like, he donates a lot of money. If you don't know that, like, there's, that's the truth of the matter in regards to Kyrie Irving. I understand the concerns with the long-term effects of the vaccine, because right now it's only been out for like a year, so we only know the short-term effects. Sure. I think for Kyrie, it's just, if you're still concerned, maybe try to get connected with a health expert who knows about the vaccine very well. Have a conversation with them, because Kyrie has access to probably set up that conversation, and then once you have that conversation, I mean, we heard Kyrie on his IG live last week. He wants to be out there on the court. He wants to compete for a championship. It's one of his dreams, right, to win another championship. So if I had to guess, I honestly think at some point he will return. It's just, we don't know when. But I think seeing his guys out there on the court, not being able to be out there with them, I think it's going to get to him. And so personally, I think at some point he's going to be out there. It's just a matter of when. Can the Nets win a title without Kyrie?
Reggie Miller tells me yes. I spoke with him the other day. In all actuality, I think one of the things that the Nets did that was intelligent last season was bringing James Harden to be that playmaker that many people believed Kyrie would be alongside Kevin Durant. I still do think the Nets did upgrade, and I think one of the things that the Nets did that I thought retroactively was intelligent, one of the most Patty Mills coming to Brooklyn was one of the most underrated moves this offseason. I believe that Patty Mills coming to Brooklyn this offseason was the epitome of Seth Curry joining the Philadelphia 76ers last offseason. Both underrated moves a year apart, and I think Patty Mills brings championship experience, has a relationship. Sean Marks from the Spurs days has a relationship with LaMarcus Aldridge, and even Jacques Vaughn, who's a lead assistant with Brooklyn. So I like the move, and he and KD having competed in the Olympics this offseason, I definitely think there was a camaraderie built there. So in answer to your question, the Nets do have a chance, but the Los Angeles Lakers, perfect segue to our next topic. I definitely have a thing or two to say about that with the three-headed monster that is LeBron James, Russell Westbrook, and Anthony Davis.
Yeah, the Lakers, man. I mean, obviously the preseason didn't go so well for them, but it's preseason, don't matter. They went 0-6. Some flashes here and there. We got some exciting plays between the three stars. Personally, I think the first month or so, this team is going to struggle like a little bit as Frank Vogel figures out lineups, who can play with who. Russ is still trying to get acclimated into this team. It's different for him, right? He's playing with two guys who are better than him. AD is going to be the focal point of this team. LeBron is a ball dominant guy, as is Russ. And so I feel like in fast break, this team in transition is going to be great. In the half court is maybe where they'll get like a little bit stagnant at times. Russ is going to have to learn to play off the ball. We've seen LeBron do it a little bit here and there, but he's going to have to learn to do it more with Russ too. And so I think I wouldn't be surprised if this team over the first month of the season goes around 500 or so, as maybe only a few games above 500, because they're going to learn how to build the chemistry, but the talent is certainly there.
And there's an adjustment also in the coaching staff. Lionel Hollins is no longer with Los Angeles. You brought in John Lucas III. Everybody jokes about the fact that he dunked, or rather LeBron James dunked on him when he was a member of the Bulls, and LeBron was a member of the Heat, I believe. But you also have added some other pieces. You got David Fizdale.
Great pickup.
You gave Frank Vogel a contract extension as well. So
Jason Kidd's gone.
Pieces on the coach. Jason Kidd is gone. Miles Simon is gone. So Phil Handy, who we had on one of our shows recently, he's still there. And, he vocalized this to me. He said, when you look at this team, specifically to your point about LeBron James and Russell Westbrook, LeBron is used to having the ball in his hand. Well, one of the things that we learned going into the offseason is LeBron does have a desire to kind of shift to the 4 spot. So systematically, I still do think that the Lakers are playing positionless basketball. I think people pay so much attention to positions. Yeah, Russell, by definition or by position, as a point guard. Russell is a playmaker. He can also score. But there, everybody has made a big thing about the fact that Anthony Davis is the center. But don't get it twisted. He can still hit up a spot-up jumper. He can still push the ball on a break, as can Russell, as can LeBron. But I also do think that it's not just those guys that you're focusing on. You still have role players in Carmelo Anthony. You still have guys in Malik Monk. I saw something the other day that I thought was hilarious. They said that if Kentavious Caldwell-Pope had stayed on the Lakers, you would have had a Pope, you would have had a Nunn and Kendrick Nunn, and you would have also had, I think there's another position. It's Nunn, Pope,
and Monk.
No, we said that, right? We said Malik Monk, Kendrick Nunn,
and Pope. That was a 3.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.